Welcome back to Building Together. My name is Colin, and today we are talking about the last Lego announcement for brand new sets in March, and this one is a doozy. That's right, it is the Dinosaur Fossils T-Rex Skeleton, and this is a massive set at 3,145 pieces, retailing for $250 US. Now, this is a fascinating set because I think it exhibits a classic trade-off of many 18 plus style sets. What is that trade-off, and do we plan on getting this set? Find out in this video. Before we delve into that, this is going to be a little bit of a shorter video because we don't have a ton of time, but I want to show some appreciation for what this set is doing. The first thing I want to appreciate is the level of detail that we see. Now, I am not a paleontologist. I do not study dinosaurs, so I can't really talk about the accuracy of the entire skeleton, but there are a lot of really cool details. Notice that the head hinges, and so you might be able to have a little bit of movement there. Notice that there are a lot of details, whether it's with the construction of the legs or even the arch of the back. Notice that there's a lot of details in the skull, which, by the way, is different from the T-Rex skull set that came out a couple of years ago, so you're not getting a complete redo of that, even though there are quite a few similarities. There are also a lot of details in the tapering of the tail. When you get this skeleton, there are a lot of things that go into making the contours work really well, and so I'm not going into the typical building techniques and all the different pieces and the cool pieces and all of that, but you can see that there really are a lot of fantastic details in this set. The second thing I want to appreciate is the size. If you have the T-Rex Rampage set from a few years ago, or if you've seen it built on a Lego shelf, or you've seen it on display, you know that that T-Rex is pretty big. This one is even bigger. This one comes in at 41 plus inches long. That's over 3 feet, close to 3.5 feet, and you are getting an absolutely massive set. Now, you can see the minifigs are included and just how small they are. Dr. Grant, Dr. Sattler look tiny compared to the skeleton because this really is that massive. And so you notice that compared to the T-Rex Rampage, which had roughly the same number of pieces and cost, you got the gate and the dinosaur. This is just the dinosaur, not even the full dinosaur, but the dinosaur skeleton. The third thing that I want to highlight in my appreciation for the set is the parts pack. Look, I'm not going to get into all of the little pieces that you see here, but notice just how many slopes, bow slopes, really cool plates, wedge plates, inverted slopes, especially in the skull, and lots of tiles and tan, dark tan. There's so much going on with those colors here that if you like those colors, you build with those colors, you are going to probably get a lot of cool pieces from this set. Now, of course, one of the trade-offs, it's not the trade-off that I'm going to talk about, but one of the trade-offs when you buy sets like this is you are going to get a lot of pieces you may not want. So if you plan on getting this for parts purposes, you are going to get a lot of the bones that you get in there and a lot of repeated pieces that you may not want. But looking at this in terms of all of the tan pieces, there are so many cool things in there. Very, very, very good when it comes to the plates, the bow slopes, tiles, and more with all of these pieces. So I appreciate that. So with any Lego set, of course, there are going to be trade-offs. I already mentioned one in terms of if you use this for a parts pack. The second trade-off that I'm going to mention as I build into the main trade-off is that you are sacrificing minifigs and more substantial builds or side builds when you have a set like this compared to other 18 plus style sets. If you go back to the T-Rex Rampage, there were significantly more minifigs. You got a wider cast that was part of the Jurassic Park movie. This one just gives you Dr. Grant and Dr. Statler. So you get fewer minifigs, you get fewer pieces that are going to mesh well maybe with your collection if you do buildings and things like that because of the skeleton on this set compared to a smaller dinosaur, but the gate. But the main trade-off, and this is one that I think a lot of 18 plus or a lot of adult fans struggle with, is the build process versus the final result. Take a look at this set. It is absolutely massive, but it is promising to be a very repetitive build. If you look at the ribs, you can see that there's a lot of these dinosaur bones put together and attached. A lot of the segments are the same from one to the next. And then when you get to the tail itself does differ in terms of its sections, but a lot of the building techniques and the way that they put the pieces together and the pieces that they use are going to be similar from one section to the next, which means that the build itself does not promise to be all that engaging and entertaining compared to other sets that I've built. Large sets like the Lion Knight's Castle, even the Medieval Blacksmith, or any of the recent modular buildings, especially the Tudor Corner. So you get a build that may not be as entertaining, as engaging, but you do get an incredible display piece. And I think that's really one of the trade-offs that adult fans have to deal with, right? Build that may not be as great, but after all, you only spend 6 to 8 hours building a set like this, and you've got years upon years of looking at it on your shelf. And so does that build experience outweigh the end result, the beautiful display piece? That's what Lego's banking on. So that's one of the trade-offs that I look at when I consider buying this set. So is this a set that we plan on getting? Well, it is $250. You only get 2 minifigs, and it's definitely a set for display. I think it would look great on our display shelves behind me, but it is coming out in March, and that's also when the Ninjago City Crossroads are coming out. It's also when we have our first Bricklink Designer Program set being shipped to us, the Forest Stronghold. So I think we're pretty tapped out in March, and of course, we've got plenty of rumors for sets coming up in April, like Bag End or the Beauty and the Beast Castle, and then you've got June releases coming up shortly thereafter, and so on and so forth, that this may be one that we pick up later on in its life, maybe toward the end when it goes on sale, but ultimately probably not one we're getting for a long time, if at all. Hope you appreciated this little mini breakdown of the set, some of the things that I noticed in these T-Rex skeleton. Have a great day. Thanks for watching, and always remember to keep building together.